Hey, performers. So I have a question for you. Show of hands, how many of you have children at home? I'm just kidding. I can't actually see your hands. This is just a video. We're not actually face to face. But if you have children at home, you have a huge opportunity to make yourself a better performer. And even if you don't have kids at home, you have opportunity to try the same thing. Today on Danny Robertson Music, I want to talk about how reading children's books can make you a better performer. Welcome back to Danny Robertson Music, where we try to help you become the best possible performer that you can be on whatever stage you choose. I'm Danny Robertson. Thank you for joining me again today. I am excited about this one. I think this is going to be a really neat, eye-opening experience for most of us. So many of you know that I have young children at home. My wife and I have been reading to them since they were babies, and most nights they get 1, 2, or 3 books before bedtime. Reading to my kids every night taught me something about the way that I can perform in front of people. And I had already naturally been doing this somewhat anyway, so it was just a neat experience to learn. Now, something I realized over the course of time reading to my children is that I had to make that book exciting by adding voices and creating the ups and downs in the excitement that comes from talking through the story. So if you practice reading with your kids, you can use that as an opportunity to get better at performing on a stage. It teaches you to do things like enunciate, create bigger voices, and add an energy level and an excitement to the story. When you're talking with your audience, you can create big, emotional, exciting experiences. You can talk with a huge voice, sound like a radio announcer, or you can talk with a softer tone to create a calmness that creates that low point in your show. You can use inflection, you can enunciate, you can talk with a little bit of a mumble. So let me show you an example of how I would do this. And I encourage you to do this at home with your own children. Another monster at the end of this book, which ironically enough is a sequel to A Monster at the End of This Book. It's Grover and Elmo. Now, do you think that my kids would let me get away with not faking an Elmo voice? Not a chance. To make it entertaining, you sometimes have to move your voice around and do different things. Another monster at the end of this book. Another monster at the end of this book? Oh no, another monster? We will not be going any further in this book.
But Elmo love monsters, Mr. Grover. Turn the page, please.
Yeah, I do that pretty much every time I read this. Elmo, I am not going to the end of this book. Monsters are not to be trifled with. I am going to stay right here on the first page.
Okay, Mr. Grover. Elmo will go see the monster all by himself.
You're probably laughing at me by now, but that's okay. This is something that you can do in your show. You have to kind of actively prepare yourself for this. So you have to learn to think like this while you're performing. Elmo, do you not understand that at the end of this book, there is a monster? I mean, it could be a nice, furry monster like you or me or Cookie or Harry. But it could also be a very big, scary, hungry monster with sharp teeth and claws and an attitude. Therefore, I am putting these hundreds of paper clips here just to remind you that we are not going to the end of this book.
Yes, Mr. Grover.
When you read to children, the book is going to make you have to be more entertaining. Kids love hearing voices. They love hearing the story told in a way that they can visualize the different characters, and that can actually help you on stage. The big thing that I want to point out that reading books teaches you is that there is a difference between your regular talking, speaking, daily interaction type of voice and persona and what you present on stage. Being on stage is a great opportunity to become essentially the best version of yourself. So you can create that persona even if you don't feel like that 100% of the time. You can be big and exciting and all of the fun, or you can be super professional, very, very well spoken. Reading to kids teaches you a lot about presentation, how something looks, how something sounds, how professional or how fun or how exciting or how calm. You can control that. And this works when you're talking in front of a crowd, at a big show, or in a coffee shop, or even if you're like in a corporate meeting and you need to sound as professional as possible. You can control that. If you have kids at home, I'd encourage you to read to them and try these techniques. Try to create voices. Try to learn to speak as eloquently and professional as possible. Try to enunciate. Try to make a big version of your voice and a small version of your voice. Try a bunch of things to see if you can present yourself better. And your kids are a great practice point for that. Now, if you don't have kids, you're not out of the woods yet because you can do this too. You just have to find an audience to try this with. So my suggestion is find a local library. A lot of the time, local libraries have little story time hours where adults read to kids. You can be a volunteer in those cases. So thanks again for watching this video. If you're so inclined, like, comment, subscribe to the channel, get on my email list at DannyRobertsonMusic.com. If you have kids, I do hope you're reading to them every day. And if you don't have kids, I still hope you're practicing reading and trying these techniques that we were talking about. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.